This is the day that the Lord hath made, so let us rejoice and be glad in it. Smile. Come on. This is a celebration. And I'm so happy to be here this morning. And I give greetings to you, first of all, to His Excellency in his absence, to all the other honorable elected officials, to the dignitaries, to the diplomats, to Mr. President, whom I know personally. We attended church together for many, many years. And to all of you, you are welcome here in the state of Georgia, and you should give yourselves a hand for coming all the way to this great state of Georgia. Thank you. I am Senator Donzella James, and I have been elected since the 90s. I have been re-elected every 2 years, and I am very honored and privileged to serve the people. I am called the voice of the voiceless. I have visited all over the world, especially in the motherland. My passport I'm on my third one for the past 10 years because it never expired. I just continued to travel so much, and I had to get new passports over and over again. And most of the time I go to Nigeria. Amen. I feel that my roots are truly deeply planted there because my first visit there, I felt this kinship. And I've been to not only Lagos and Abuja, but all over. I haven't been to your nation yet, and I want to go there one day. But I spent a lot of time in Akwa Ibom because I have many friends who are from there. But I want to wish you a very good morning, and I want to thank you for welcoming me here today. And I am Senator Donzella James, and it's an honor to be joining you for the start of this very special occasion. The TIV conference right here in the great state of Georgia welcomes you on behalf of our governor, our deal, our lieutenant governor, Casey Cagle, whom I work directly with, the other legislators in the House and the Senate, and of course our mayor, Mayor Reed, who wishes that he could be here this morning, but he had a conflict in his schedule. But I'm part of a big group in the state of Georgia. It's called the Georgia Legislative Black Caucus. And I'm one of we have the largest black caucus in the nation, 61 African Americans who are part of this. And we all work together. We don't want to be the largest, we want to be the most effective. And the great thing about our black caucus is that we have reached out to not only Brazil and the Caribbeans, but definitely the motherland, all of Africa. So we've been working together and traveling. In fact, I just came back last week from the Democratic Republic, the Democratic Republic of Congo, and where I was for 2 weeks. And I wasn't in a 5-star hotel. I traveled all over. I already knew in advance. And I had a wonderful visit. And I was able to sit with the governor and the president and many other dignitaries on every level. But we were able to talk about fostering a closer relationship between the United States and especially Georgia and, of course, Congo. And I think that it was just the start of a great relationship. We want you to know that Georgia is open for business. I serve on the Education Committee of Georgia, the Economic Development Committee of Georgia, and I am the chair of the Interstate Corporation Committee. I think I'm probably the only African American that has a chairmanship in the legislature and the only woman. So, you know, I don't take anything for granted. I just work hard and work smart, but I never deny who I am and whose I am in everything I see and say and do for the state of Georgia. So I'm very proud to have you here today. I want you to know that I have a prepared message, so I guess I should stick to it since I'm on a clock. So let me just start by saying I'm a lifelong Georgian, born right here in the city of Atlanta, the home of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and many other dignitaries like Andrew Young, who is still working very hard for us. And he has many ties with Africa, especially Nigeria, with his Young Ideas group. And he continues to work even now. So I am truly happy that you've come to our wonderful city, our wonderful state. And I want you to know that you're in God's country right now. It's my district, the 35th Senate District of Georgia. So you're blessed. During my tenure, I focused on numerous issues and causes that have had a visible impact on those individuals that I serve. Throughout my time in the Georgia legislature under the Golden Dome, I've worked with my colleagues to create and pass numerous pieces of legislation that deal with issues such as crime reduction, education, and paying our teachers. You get what you pay for. You get good teachers. You pay them a decent salary. And I am currently working on raising the minimum wage in the state of Georgia because it's shamefully low, and most African Americans are the ones who have those particular jobs. How can you afford to raise a family on $5.15 an hour? That's less than the national average, which is already low too, $7.25. So we're working to pass that bill, and hopefully, if I see you next year, I can say we passed it, and maybe people will be able to pay their bills and eat and have a roof over their heads. And most of the time now, these people have to work 2 and 3 jobs and still have to get some kind of assistance in order to make ends meet. But on the Economic Development Committee that I serve on, we have traveled all over to bring other countries into the state of Georgia. But somehow, the motherland is always not there. They have different offices in different states, in different countries, from China and Korea, South Korea, and Israel, and Germany, and all over Europe, UK, and even in Brazil, but no office from the state of Georgia in Africa at all. They used to have one in Johannesburg many years ago. So I'm working to get one in Nigeria. Because you know that if you have an office there, then you're going to do business there. You have precious resources there. You should be the first country that they would want to go to. So we're going to change things. They shouldn't have put me on that committee if they didn't want to make sure that we put people to work and we bring precious resources right here in the state of Georgia. So I'm very honored to work on that particular project with my colleagues in the Black Caucus. You know, I believe in the nations of the African continent and your initiative to advance the people of Africa through economic growth. As you know, Africa is comprised of, 54 countries, and is a continent rich in natural resources and cultural history. And many of these nations are still dealing with the harsh realities of a largely uneducated populace. I saw that in the Congo. high mortality rates, and unstable governments that abuse power and squander valuable natural resources that are key to future viability. However, I think that some of this is just what people think, and it's not actually what's happening. So we want to make some changes. We want to educate the legislators all over this nation so they can go over to Africa and see for themselves that they can say, like I say all the time, shame on CNN for presenting you incorrectly. You know? We would think, you know, when I came back from the Congo last week, I even had some intelligent people to say, well, did you see any elephants and lions and, you know, what happened over there? Was it trees and people really live in them? And they have erroneous information. I am so sorry that the United States of America in 2015 has not really been educated to what is really in the motherland. So it's my one person, I guess, job to get over to our legislature and make sure that that doesn't happen right here in the state of Georgia. It's my hope that we can develop international partnerships which support the emergence of Africa's private sector, promote direct foreign investment in Africa, and leverage the imbalances in Africa's growing economy. There are many encouraging signs. We have seen investments that strive to eradicate poverty, investment opportunities to change the political and economic image of Africa, access to the billion-dollar fund that the United States government has committed to trade capacity building activities, as well as networking and subcontracting, opportunities for many of our African countries. Long viewed as the economic capital of the South, Atlanta is home to such multinational corporations like the Coca-Cola Company, Delta Airlines, Home Depot, and many other Fortune 500 companies. These companies have an immense economic impact on the world stage and can expand their success in the business world by increasing their activities with African nations. We're also home to the largest and the busiest airport in the world, and that's the Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport, also known for our renowned Savannah Port. The Port of Savannah is being dredged right now. Thank you, President Obama, because he allowed the funds to come to the state of Georgia to actually make sure that large ships and barges could come into the Savannah port. And this is going to be a win-win situation for all of Africa, too, because they've already opened up the Panama Canal, and it will be a direct route from the coast of Nigeria to Savannah, Georgia, and hopefully cut costs by 1/3 or even more for imports and exports. So hopefully by 2020, this project will end, and then we can do even more business together and have even more lucrative partnerships. So I'm looking forward to it, and I hope that you know that this is something that President Obama has had on his heart and mind, and he is really working very hard to make sure it happens while he's still in office. You can give our president a hand. Don't believe all the things you hear about him. You know, he's doing a great job. He's worked very hard. He inherited so many problems, and he's taken us out of poverty. You might disagree with me, but I'm right there, and I see it every day. Believe me. And also, it'll be easy travel between our two continents, as well as provide premier shipping ports for imports and export goods. It's because of these factors that Atlanta is perfectly suited to nurture the growing relationship between the United States of America and the countries that make up Africa. So I'd like to thank you again for inviting me here today, for allowing me to take part in such a special event. I'm confident that with the continued efforts of the TIV conference, that we will continue to see great progress between the nations that make up the continent of Africa and our great state of Georgia. As your state legislator, I want you to know I'm your legislator, not just the state of Georgia. I'm here for you, and if it's anything that I can do to forge this relationship and make it better and do something to help you, please don't hesitate to call. I will continue to fight for mutually beneficial relationships that produce economic success for both entities. It's my utmost sincere hope that as we move forward, Georgia and Africa can continue to build mutually beneficial relationships that help each of our economies grow. Let's put people to work, not just here, but in Nigeria as well. Let's make sure that we exchange our students even more than what we're doing now. Let's make sure that we open our doors and nail them back so you can come anytime that you want, and we can come there as well. Although we come from very different backgrounds, there is much more that unites us than divides us. I am a Nigerian. I know I am. I'm going to check my roots. Because whenever I have visited many, many countries. I worked for the UN for about 7 years, and I got a chance to travel the world. But when I went to Africa my very first time, it was to Nigeria. And I wanted to just get down and kiss the ground because I knew that this is where I belong. So that's why I continue to visit on my own money too, okay? Not the state of Georgia's. And go whenever I can and whenever I'm invited. So again, I welcome you from the bottom of my heart and also from all of those who work with me in the legislature. You're welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you. Yeah, I can't move without it.